Hello, welcome to the International Business Conversations podcast. My name is Dr. Irina Goch, and I am here with my student.
Hi, my name is Szymon, and I'm a final year student of international business here at Bloomberg University.
Could you please tell us about your degree and what you study and things that you enjoy, maybe things that you found challenging, something specific, anything that you would like to share?
Sure, with much pleasure. So I have been always interested in, international scope on the world. Since my baby steps, my parents, fueled me with the love for traveling and getting to know other cultures. Hence, I've decided that I should do something with international scope in my life. But because I also had this passion for business, I thought that international business actually merges both. So I didn't face too many challenges because this degree is exactly what I expected it to be. The only surprises were the surprises regarding the modules, lecturers, and the contents itself. Because, for example, using Bloomberg wasn't on my checklist ever. And that was a very magnificent experience. So what I love the most about this degree is essentially exploring every aspect of the business, but in much larger scope, as you know it.
Let's talk about Bloomberg a bit more. So think about your experience when you first tried it, or when you heard that we're going to use it. What surprised you the most when you used it for the first time? Was there anything unexpected, exciting, or confusing?
Sure. So, I actually encountered Bloomberg Terminal itself a long way back before our first module. So one of my friends was doing an internship at Bloomberg in London, and I visited the HQ of Bloomberg and saw how people are actually using the terminal. But back then, I only thought about it as a financial software, with endless amount of numbers, figures, and stuff like that. But the emerging market module opened my eyes and widened my perspective, because you can use such a variety of things in Bloomberg Terminal. It's not all about the numbers only. You also can use maps, trade flows, graphs, charts. And the thing that surprised me the most was the news aggregation function, which essentially lists for you all of the news around the world which are live regarding the topic that you would like to research.
You mentioned trade flows, and by the way, we do have a picture of trade flows over there and on the screens, the top screens there. One of the functions that visually represents trade flows. You mentioned that Bloomberg is perceived as mainly financial tool.
That's correct.
But it's not like that, because now you've expanded your horizons to use it more like a business tool. Could you maybe think about ways how you could use Bloomberg for business-related activities?
Yes, exactly. So in my opinion, Bloomberg can be used especially in terms of market research and the strategy part of businesses. Because, the market analysts, they usually compare many different sets of data, including annual reports and stuff like that, to then fuel it into the corporate strategy of a firm. But imagine having all of those information in one only software, which is Bloomberg Terminal. It would allow the analysts to cut down the lead time significantly. So in my opinion, Bloomberg Terminal can be used in many different ways, but mainly, and the most simple way, would be to use it for market research.
How did working with Bloomberg during the module shifted your thinking in terms of the skills and mindsets that we need for the future?
Yeah, so essentially what changed in terms of my mindset and perception by the usage of Bloomberg Terminal is not to take the numbers, not to take the figures and things within softwares by default as it is. It's all about the critical thinking and analyzing what's actually behind, because you can't only look at the number and think, okay, that's the number. You need to have this critical thinking and ask two questions: why and why.
You shared many great experiences with Bloomberg, but can you share some examples from what you've learned during the module, Emerging Markets, Economic Geography and Trends?
Of course. So one of the biggest key takeaways from Emerging Markets module for me personally is that whenever multinational enterprises are expanding somewhere to other countries, a very important thing to take into consideration is the culture of the place where we're going. And one of the best things during the whole module is that we had a variety of guest speakers from different parts of the world, and they were sharing their takes on particular business actions, as well as, even history, which then is deeply rooted in some cultures, which needs to be perceived and taken into account by businesses to be successful. And even though I always knew that cultures are distinct, unique, and beautiful in their way, I didn't really think about it's such a big deal for the big companies to take those into consideration, because not every approach will work in every single country.
My final question to you is, what kind of advice could you give to educators and students who are considering using Bloomberg, implementing it, but maybe they don't know how to?
For educators themselves, I would say to introduce Bloomberg to students as early as possible, because in my experience, a final year student, third year at the university, that's when I started using Bloomberg. I wish it could have been done sooner. So sooner rather than later, that's the first thing. And the second thing for both educators and students is to immerse yourself in Bloomberg. Don't follow instructions. You are free to explore. Just open the terminal and start just, using different functions and see what you like. Sky is the limit with this tool.
Thank you very much for this insightful conversation, Szymon.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I am sure that our viewers will find this extremely useful. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.